Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Happy Friday to everybody. We got a good one today. This is scouting report for Jahmyr Gibbs, Alabama product, former Georgia Tech transfer to the Crimson Tide. He is a good one, and I mean, a lot of people making the comparison right off the bat that he is another likeness of an Alvin Kamara. Tough to argue. I think that he is one of the better talents in this draft. Outside of a Bijan Robinson at the running back position, Gibbs is a fantastic player, and he's definitely, his skills will translate into the NFL absolutely gloriously because he does have that supreme level receiving upside. But before we get started, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button for me. Do me that favor if you dig the content. And I mean, I'm just going to keep providing the great level content, not only for your favorite team, but for your fantasy football clubs and who you should be drafting. So what do you say we talk a little Jahmyr Gibbs, Alabama Crimson Tide? By all measures that we evaluate talent, I mean, you can understand that this year's running back draft class is supremely top end and very deep. There is a lot of talent at the running back position. Yes, we got Bijan Robinson basically in a tier by himself, and then you got everybody else, but don't count out a Jahmyr Gibbs because he is that good. I think transferring to the Crimson Tide was a stroke of genius because it definitely would have inflated his stock price and his value. But let's dive into those measurables. He stands at 5'9", almost 200 pounds, 199 in weight. He is only 20 years of age, very youthful at this point compared to others at 21 and 22. He played in 31 contests, 383 attempts, 21-32 in yards, a decent 5.6 on the average, and a nice 15 rushing touchdowns. Where Gibbs does separate himself from a lot of running backs in this class is that supreme level receiving upside. He adds 103 receptions for 12-12 in yardage, 11.1 on the average, and 8 receiving scores. This is part of his MO. This is what makes Gibbs that much more special compared to a lot of other talents, is that supreme level receiving upside, much like we saw with an Alvin Kamara coming out of college. A lot of people, I want to say that Gibbs right now is a little bit more ahead of where Alvin Kamara was at this point in his draft process. Gibbs is more rounded out than Kamara was. Kamara kind of flew on the scene, after the fact a little bit, but Gibbs is that good, that talented in both aspects of rushing and receiving, and I think in the rushing aspect, I do believe he does have Alvin Kamara beat at this point of their, when Kamara was going into the draft process also. But let's dive into those pros. He's got a boatload of them, no kidding, man. He's got extremely fluid runner. You know me and my evaluation prowess. I love me some fluidity in my running backs, in my wide receivers, and Gibbs is no different. I'm just calling him Gibby. He's Gibby to me, and I mean, the agility is top end also. It's the best part of his game at this point. The fact that he can make people miss, shake and juke, spin moves, the exceptionally quick feet in this man is such plus grades. If you watched his workout at the combine on the bag drills, you're going to completely understand what I mean by quick feet. No wasted movements. Looks like he's taken 2 steps when someone takes 1. He's over those bags with no tripping, no stumbling, just extremely exceptional quick feet in a Gibbs, and it's showcased on film also. You see it on the field all the time is how good his feet are, and he's able to break free and make big plays. Electric breakaway speed. He ran, a 4.36 at the combine, and that definitely translates on the film as well. His speed is legit, probably one of the fastest running backs in this draft class, even though, okay, we say 40 straight line speed, but when he's on the field, his ability to break free, whether he's going in between the tackles or running to the outside, Gibbs can break free and head to the end zone for a house call at any given moment if the blocking is definitely there. The great burst, hesitation burst, is absolutely amazing, and this one I got to put on 2 aspects. When he's in the open field, hesitation burst, and the stop-start burst is just glorious. He's able to make people miss just with the gear up and gear down. He gears down, the defensive player is going to take a wrong angle, and then Gibbs actually gears up and goes around him without even having to make a move, just beats him on sheer speed alone. and the hesitation burst as well in the backfield when he's waiting for his lanes to open up. He does this so well, and this aids in the patience ability of your running backs when they're trying to see the gaps and holes open up behind the line of scrimmage. Gibby does this so well. It's an absolute plus trait for me. Hence why I say as well, he is a little bit further ahead of where Alvin Kamara was at this point of his career. I still like the comp. I think that Alvin Kamara comp to a Gibby is great, but I think that Gibbs is actually a little bit better off right now than where Kamara was. I've said it a few times already, but that's exactly how I feel about this man. Stop-start awareness, absolutely amazing. You see it in the open field on his packages, all the time. When you're diving into his film, some of these big plays, I remember watching one where he was going to the outside, made a man miss, and there was a hesitation stop where the safety took the wrong angle. The awareness that he understands when to gear up, when to gear down. His game is predicated upon speed and awareness and his ability to make people miss. Gibbs is so good in this department that you're going to see it, and he's going to make waves in the NFL in this respect. Vision, I got plus grades on the man. He is not just an outside runner. He can absolutely find the holes and the gaps in between the tackles, and he's able to exploit them. That's why the hesitation step aids in that. The patience level aids in his vision as well. He's not one of these guys that's just looking for the one cut and go through the gaps. He is actually more patient behind the line than a lot of people think, which increases his ability to see the holes and the gaps. His vision, to me, definitely has plus grades. He is not just an outside runner, aka like Reggie Bush style was back in the day. Gibbs is actually put together in this respect. He understands the gap awareness, the hole awareness, and his cutback lanes are there as well. You got to love the awareness for cutback lanes is definitely on point as well. If the hole is closing up, he is always, looking to extend plays, obviously with the speed, obviously with the juke shake ability. Gibbs can do that very well. The great shuffle step also aids in the vision and patience. It's a put-together, resume of ability that you see in Jahmyr Gibbs because he needs to understand that he's not a 220 back. He's not a 215 type of running back where he's going to plow through an offensive line and try to beat up defensive players on the defensive line. It's not part of his game. He's looking for the holes, kind of like we saw with someone like Le'Veon Bell. He was the master at patience and the side steps and the shuffle steps behind the line, patiently waiting for the holes to open before he would burst through the hole. That's exactly what Gibbs does also, and it's a huge plus grades in my respect for patience and vision for Gibbs because this is just going to help his cause in the running game and the running aptitude. Off-tackle runs are so clean. I mean, the outside breakaway wheels, when he's going off-tackle, you think that a defensive end is going to get him. He just outruns him right to the sideline. It's always on film. You see this more often than you don't, and he doesn't get tackled behind the line very often either. So with the speed, the wheels, the awareness, the vision, the patience, it almost sounds like a full put together, resume of glory for a Gibbs. I mean, receiving ability. We know exactly what he does in the receiving game. I told you 103 receptions in his time moving over to Alabama. Just, highlighted his ability in the pass game that much more. Bryce Young fed him on the regular. I mean, that wheel route is absolutely automatic. And if you're looking for a running back with exceptional hands and great receiving ability to add to your offense, Gibbs is one of these guys. Can he be a true three-down back? That's going to be one of the question marks. But, I mean, very good college production overall for total yards. And he is just going to be one of those complete mismatches on an NFL squad where you can utilize him from the backfield, you can utilize him in the receiving game. The check down opportunity is going to be there. The screen passes are definitely going to be there for a Gibbs, and he's going to make plays after the catch every single time. But everybody's got some cons. We got to dive into some cons. He could stand to add 10 to 15 pounds. He is a little bit lighter on the frame. I get it, 5'9". We would have liked to have seen 5'10", 5'11", but 5'9", but he is put together. I don't find it to be a massive knock, but he could stand to add 10 pounds to his frame, and it shouldn't, make his speed diminish that much. I mean, 10 pounds for a guy who runs a 4.36 on the 40 is not going to cripple his speed and his long breakaway wheels, no kidding, but he definitely could add some muscle to that to add that part of his game and strength. He never had a 1,000-yard rushing season in college. I mean, with Georgia Tech, with Alabama, he almost got there. I believe it was just like 926 or whatever in his yardage. But, I mean, this is what you want to see. He played with a better squad, and he was able to carry the load. 150 carries from the backfield, almost 1,000 yards, is a very good, statistical round out for his stats. And I do believe that in the NFL, as he continues to move forward, as he continues to grow, he adds those 10 pounds to his frame where he's able to take some pro punishment. I think he's going to be easily a 1,000-yard rusher in the NFL. Can he handle 250 to 280 carries? Not touches, carries. That's going to be the question. I still have a debate on that. I wonder if he can do it because of the frame, because of how he plays. You're going to see some soft tissue injuries come out of guys that have exceptional wheels and, use the, agility movements. You're going to see soft tissue end up happening at some point. Can he handle 250 to 280, or is he going to be better suited like an Alvin Kamara was with someone like Mark Ingram? That's the key that we're going to have to watch in the NFL, but he's going to be so good in the open field that fantasy viability is definitely going to be there for this man on a weekly basis. But I do believe that it will be capped. His carries from the backfield, 200 might be even a stretch. I think he could be around the 185, the 190 mark where it's going to be home in the NFL. But 250 to 280 carries is what I'm really curious about. Can a NFL club do this? Even though we understand NFL teams do split backfields more often than not, that's basically the nature of the beast now in the NFL. 250 carries is a little bit of a drastic thing, so you're not saying he's going to be Bijan-esque. You're not even saying he could be a Zach Charbonnet in the carries and volume, but he will make up for a lot of it in full-on touches, total touches, rather than carries. Strength and power runs, not necessarily there. It's not a huge knock because I've seen him slip tackles. He's able to make people miss, so that's part of his game. He's not a bulldozing type of back, but you would like to see, a little bit more muscle put on him where he can engage with some defenders and break free. He's usually taken down, point of contact. I mean, I got it here as well. He can be tackled easier than most running back ones. And, where Alvin Kamara is a little bit more stout, you got a Gibbs, he is a little bit more lean. So, is this going to be a massive concern in the NFL? I don't think so. I think that just based on his skill set and how he plays the game of football, he's just going to be, that finesse type of runner that's going to be able to make plays. We've seen many of them have long careers in the NFL where they are able to, utilize their talents to the top end degree, and they didn't necessarily have to round out their game to be both, power and speed. So I'm not overly concerned, but I mean, if he is lined up one-on-one, he's not able to shake out a guy coming through the line. He can be an easy tackle from time to time, so you got to understand how to scheme him up in your offense to get the most out of him. Pass pro does need improvement, and that's a big issue if he is going to be the top end receiving back. He's going to have to block for his quarterback from time to time. He's not dreadful at it. It just needs improvement, and I think that, if a misstep does happen, his quarterback's going to be planted on his butt, and you don't want to see that from a Gibbs. I do believe that's easily rounded out with technique and coaching ability, but that's where the strength could actually, the 10 pounds of extra strength could benefit Gibbs that much more is in the pass pro rather than the running upside ability, because I do believe with his skills, he's going to make people miss regardless of what he does. But in the pass pro, you add some muscle, it's going to be to his benefit, no kidding. Like I said, NFL offensive schemes, they do need to play up to his strengths. I mean, the wheel routes are, off the chain, explosive and virtually unguardable. You got to utilize him. The Saints did it appropriately well with Alvin Kamara. It's the best comp I got, hence why I keep going back to it. They utilized Alvin Kamara the way that they're supposed to under a Sean Payton. It was just glorious how they did that. Use power runs with Mark Ingram. You can use finesse runs in receiving game with an Alvin Kamara. I fully expect NFL teams, whoever drafts a Gibbs, will utilize Gibbs in that same approach and same manner, because it only will benefit the offense and keep Gibbs from going into the medical room if you do misuse him with power runs, which you likely will not. But Gibbs is that good, and I mean, there's not a whole heck of a lot of downgrades for me on him, but there are some to keep note of. But for grading purposes, like I said, this running back class is extremely deep, full of talent. I got Gibbs sitting at an 80.3. He's just unbelievable in his craft. If they utilize him in this receiving game the way that they're supposed to, Gibbs could be an absolute, 1,500 total yard type of running back in the NFL without question. And I think that, depending on where he does go, you hope that he gets a quarterback that knows how to utilize him properly. And I really hope the one problem I hope is that NFL teams do not draft him and then, don't utilize him the way he's supposed to, because that would be a absolute travesty in the case, because he is this good. He is a game-changing type of running back. He's got wheels for days, can make a house call from anywhere on the field. Draft Gibbs and use him properly is all I'm saying, but he is a supreme talent sitting at 80.3. So there you go. That is Jahmyr Gibbs, Alabama Crimson Tide. He had a fabulous final season in his collegiate career. His combine was legit off the charts. He looks so good running the football, and I love my fluid runners, and this is going to bode well for fantasy football productivity. Don't kid yourself. It's going to be that good. I was always on a guy like Travis Etienne. A lot of people were criticizing me for that, and look what Travis was able to do last season. This is what Jahmyr Gibbs is. He's speed, he's finesse, he's juke and shake, and he's got receiving upside for days, and you're going to love that for PPR upside for your fantasy leagues. No kidding about that. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. Where do you got Gibbs? He your number 2 ranked running back in this draft class. You got him a little bit lower. You got Charbonnet ahead of him. Let me know. Throw him in the comments. We can talk it out. But we'll see you next time. I am out.